Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we have some unfortunate Star Wars gaming news. We're going to go ahead and hop right on into it, break it all down for you guys from what we're hearing and what we're anticipating to see in the near future in a galaxy far, far away. We're going to go ahead and hop into it right now. Before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. Okay, so in this video we are going to be taking a quick read from IGN.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below. This just broke news yesterday, last night, at the time of recording and publishing this video, and a lot of other sources are also covering this and talking about this. Respawn's Star Wars FPS Star Wars game seems to be cancelled and just completely off the docket, but work on the other games that Respawn has been working on, such as the new Jedi Fallen Order / Fallen Jedi Survivor, much rather, whatever the third installment title is going to be for the Jedi series games, that's still in development, of course, thank God. The Black Panther and Iron Man games also are continuing on for my Marvel fans. If you are a Marvel fan, we do have our Marvel channel linked in the description down below. So today, or much rather yesterday, EA had announced and broke a major company shakeup that will result in roughly 670 individuals, or 5% of its workforce losing their jobs, unfortunately. As a part of that same reorganization, Respawn's Star Wars FPS in development at Respawn is off the table and is being cancelled on top of that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me in my own thoughts and opinions, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Following that, the CEO, Andrew Wilson's announcement of the cuts, EA's entertainment president Laura Mill had shared a note with the staff explaining in more detail of what EA's business priorities would be going forward. This includes her announcement that EA is shutting down an early development Star Wars FPS action game as a part of their ongoing focus on its own owned brands and supporting its existing games under their own umbrella, specifically like for themselves. It's a bit greedy, but I think it makes sense maybe from a company perspective. As they say that in quote, "It's always hard to walk away from a project, and this decision is not a reflection of the team's talent, tendency, or passion that they have for the game," she had wrote, giving fans the next installments of the iconic franchises that they want to be defined of a blockbuster storytelling in the right place to focus. Ending that quote right there. Not much else is known about this initial Star Wars FPS first-person shooter video game, what it was ever going to really be about or come to fruition, or actual specific details about it. We just never really knew, and we probably unfortunately will never know. But it was also rumored to feature a Mandalorian protagonist in some shape or form throughout the game itself. The fate of EA's Star Wars strategy game is also just simply unclear, as I had mentioned. EA is undertaking the move in part due to what it perceives to be a rapid shift towards a large open world video game kind of industry, massive communities and live service games on top of that there as well. They just think that maybe a Star Wars FPS video game would be out of the question. It wouldn't perform all that well in coinciding with what other companies are putting out for their video games right now in the current, essentially. IGN.com understands that the team is previously working on this game will largely be resigned to other projects, including Apex Legends, the Iron Man game from Marvel, the Black Panther game from Marvel, and the third installment of the Jedi series games as well. So while a lot of workers are being kind of let go, essentially, there's also a big number that they are actually also kind of being refigurated into the company to work on other projects. So it doesn't sound as bad, thank God, as it really may be out to be. Essentially, like, they're losing their current jobs, but they seem to be kind of reorganizing those employees to be working on other games. The Star Wars Jedi franchise will continue with its third installment, as I had mentioned, despite EA's move to focus on its own IP games, specifically such as Apex Legends, as I had mentioned. And EA is said to remain focused on its long-standing relationship with Disney and Marvel, though, however, at the same time. Like, they don't want to walk away from doing other Star Wars games necessarily, or other Marvel games, or other just Disney games to begin with. That isn't the case. They just don't really see it being worthwhile, essentially, to do a Star Wars FPS video game. Like, their relationship with Disney, the House of Mouse, Marvel, Star Wars, and everybody in between is still very much good. This isn't off the table that, like, we're not going to be getting any more Star Wars games from Respawn or from EA outside of the third installment of the Jedi franchise, essentially. Like, there's going to be more Star Wars games after that there as well. It's really just that this this Mandalorian FPS video game isn't going to be the one. Unfortunately, the cuts continue on top of that with EA and with Respawn. Additionally, EA will be restructuring its Battlefield teams somewhat following the departure of their Marcus Lenuto announced yesterday. It's sunsetting Redline Games, folding of some of its developers into the Ripple Effect. Danny Isaac and Darren White at Criterion will oversee single-player work on the series moving forward. So as I had mentioned, there's a lot of reorganizing going on within the overall company itself as of right now. EA is also going to be on the sunset of a number of mobile games, including the already announced F1 mobile racing and MLB Tap Sports video games for mobile devices, as well as this Kim Kardashian Hollywood and the Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth video games. I don't know why there's a Kim Kardashian video game. I don't even know. I just report on this stuff, which was released less than a year ago. Both of those, I guess, supposed releases, whatever those are about. I don't know. IGN also understands that EA intends to reorientate its business and development plans to focus on a handful of their bigger franchises, including EA Sports, of course, Apex Legends, the Star Wars Jedi video game series with its third installment, the Marvel's Iron Man and Marvel's Black Panther video games, Battlefield, and Need for Speed, Dragon Age, Skate, and The Sims. IGN also has learned that a team is still working in pre-production on the next Mass Effect, though BioWare's current focus remains on Dragon Age, the video game. As they say in an official announcement, it's not lost on me that these games change are more than words on a page. They directly impact the work and do every day, and in some cases mean we are eliminating roles and saying goodbye to talented colleagues, wrote Millell. I will never lose sight of the human impact of these decisions and know that change and disruption aren't easy. In difficult moments, we must remember how important it is to show up for our players, for each other as well. Ending that quote right there. Lastly, let it also be known that this whole shake-up, much rather, and this whole just reorganizing going on within the EA company itself isn't just within EA. Like, the whole game industry is in a bit of a flux and is being rocked around with layoffs and everything in between. For the financial quarter ending in December of last year, EA had reported net bookings of $2.37 billion, up 7% year over year, and the net revenue of $1.94 billion. Largely driven by the EA Sports games, Madden, all of those. The company's layoffs are roughly 670 individuals is yet another instance of ongoing mass layoffs rocking the entire gaming industry, outside of EA, outside of Respawn, impacting roughly 10,000 developers in the last year and approaching 8,000 in just the first 2 months of the new year, 2024. EA itself already laid off 6% of its workforce almost a year ago, with the main CEO, Wilson, at the time citing very similar motivations for this year's. Despite those layoffs, the total headcount prior to today's cuts is higher than 13,000 than it was during the last mass layoff, which was at 12,000. This year all being said, unfortunate news, it seems that the Star Wars FPS Mandalorian video game's off the table. Maybe another developer would take that on, like Activision. Recently, Caloran Beck's actor Ahmed Best from The Mandalorian Season 3, also taking on Jar Jar Binks in the prequels, had taken to a bit of a tease, saying that he's working on something for the gaming company, so there's a possibility that something's being picked up over there on that end of things. Of course, we've already discussed that in another video here on the channel. Go check it out, and the rest of all of our other videos here on the channel. Guys, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.